What it takes to have a 1200 horsepower engine in a roll racing car.
Puts the power to the ground at the track. It is a very quick car.
The load cell and everything's on there set up to do, so you can just, you know, just road gear, just start pulling back on that thing.
In today's video, we've got a little bit of a special one for you. We got Roll Racing Brisbane winner GOKU32 here, and today we're actually going to take you through all the ins and outs of what it takes to have such a consistent fast car at Roll Racing. We're going to jump in with Stu first of all. He's going to give you the rundown of the engine combo, everything to do with the tune, and then we'll throw you over to Juddy. He'll give you the alignment setup, suspension, wheels, tyre combo, the whole thing that makes it go and stop and all the stuff that it needs to do. And then finally, Andy's going to take you for a strap and just show you how well put together this thing is. So that's enough from me. We'll jump in and we'll get it going.
You fucking race every fast car doing it. We fucking won.
What it takes to have a 1200 horsepower engine in a roll racing car, I guess you could say. This is Alex's GT-R GOKU32. I've thought to do a bit of a breakdown on what the actual combination was, actually what's in the engine, what turbo it is, intake manifold, transmission, all that sort of stuff. Starting just straight up with the long block, Dahtone Racing actually built this car and it ended up coming to us late last year, I think it was. Alex wanted a roll racing program, and you know, we're at the track all the time, so it sort of makes sense. Anthony Day and the boys at Dahtone have built an incredible car, makes our job a lot easier. It's got a Dahtone spec race head on it. It has a VCam set up, this one, which is pretty cool. So Dahtone actually do a custom kit with their VCams, valve train and exhaust valves, exhaust camshaft, sorry. It's CNC ported. I think Rams in Sydney actually built the head and put the head together, but obviously under Anthony's guidance, what he wanted with that. So the bottom end combination in this car is an RD block. It's a diesel block, which obviously PRP did all the prep work for. It's got a Billet PRP dry sump set up on it as well with a Billet front diff. It also runs a 3.2 litre Nitto wide journal combination. Unreal. Nitto stuff's obviously what we use in all our stuff and had great success with it, so it's fantastic. The front differentials and the front sumps on these things are predominantly going to be failing first under big power. Being a sequential, it hits quite hard as well. We ended up going to Sydney roll racing. I think it was the first time in Sydney with the car. Went out on a small tune just to run the car, figure out what it was. Second time he came back in, sorry, he said to me, he goes, can I go to the big tune? I'm like, 100%. So I went out, I think he hit second gear and just exploded the front diff. From there on out, we put a PRP integrated billet dry sump and front differential on this car. It's an incredible kit. We run that same one on Big Deal as well. That kit is just unreal. Bolts in. It's very nice, flashy piece of billet. Front diff in this is a Quake front diff as well now. New set of gears, and it's made a lot stronger. Obviously had no problems there since. So we end up destroying the case on the front differential more so, I think, which is actually probably not so much the diff itself, but the case just exploded. We suggested Alex to run that kit, obviously, based on his horsepower goals and what this car actually produces. We made 1234 horsepower on the dyno with this car, and obviously there was going to be something in the drivetrain that was going to be weak. The gearbox is not a weak point. The rear end is not a weak point. We've proven that like time and time again. But yeah, the front differential was going to be something that was going to break off the car eventually. We recommend going to this kit if you want to go to a racing application, anything 1,000 plus horsepower. Obviously you can get away with it for a little while, but if you're going to repeat, the repeatability of this car is just bashing at the track on and off, on and off, on and off. That's why we go to billet sumps and billet diffs and stuff like that to keep it all stronger. So the fuel system in this car, we've got a mechanical PRP dry sump setup, runs a Kinsler, I think it's a 500 series kit on this car. It's got Siemens Deka 2400cc injectors, 2433 I think the technical term is for them. We run a surge tank at the front of this car as well. Supplying all the fuel is all through BMRS fittings and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess pretty standard sort of big power setup these days is a mechanical pump hanging off the front of the camshafts. Cooling system on this car, obviously Plasman, we don't run anything else but Plasman on the front of these things. This was already obviously built by Dahtone and sent to us, but Plasman, which is the same parts we use, which is 6, so the transition to us was really easy. Bespoke fabrication, radiator, twin fans, very nice cooling system. The car's never got hot. It never gets hot. It's we can drive it hours on the road. You know, the customer drives it 2 hours to the event, drives it 2 hours home, races all night. I think the hottest it might get to is 85 degrees, something like that. But yeah, being a diesel block as well, the cooling in this car is obviously a critical aspect, but yeah, the guys nailed it and doesn't have any problems with it really. Intake manifold on this, it's a nice Nismo intake manifold. It runs Dahtone's 6 drive-by-wire throttle body setup as well, which is really cool. The response of the engine, the response of the throttle and the feel of it is fantastic. I do like the tunability as well. It gives us a lot of evenness, I guess is that the right word, evenness across the tune for intake temperatures. Exhaust gas temperatures as well, I think benefit having 6 individual throttle bodies, but again, we see certain things we see on this car and other cars, we can see the similarities, but yeah, very nice setup, very clean, very OEM look, very JDM, I guess you could say, and keeping the theme of this car sort of matches really well. Any of these parts that you see on this car, you want these parts, we can get them for you. Jump up on the website, pop it up right here. You'll see the installation of this sump. Use any PRP parts you want, any Garrett turbos you want, any Kinsler fuel pumps you want, all the stuff that's on the website. You can get up there and check it out. If you've got any questions, shoot us an email. We'll get back to you. We can help you spec out a build or anything like that as well. So reach out if you need a hand. But yeah, jump on the website. Let's go. So this car runs a G45 1500 turbo. It's got a 4-inch dump pipe on it. We run a 60mm wastegate, Turbo Smart wastegate. Obviously, all our cars run Turbo Smart stuff, and this one's no exception. Obviously, the guys at Dahtone had all that dialed. It's sitting on a custom stainless steel manifold, which is really cool. Puts the turbo in like probably, I guess, the ideal position for like the, I guess, mid-frame size turbo. Any bigger, you sort of need a Pro Mod style, which need to come a little bit further forward. But yeah, for this setup and this car, the turbo position and where it sits on that manifold, it's really, really nice. They've done a killer job on that. All the cooler piping, all the like plumbing, the exhaust, and everything like that, it's all out of titanium. Bespoke fabrication in Sydney actually nailed this. Like, yeah, the welds on this thing is incredible. Where it's set up, like the way he's got it through the pipe work, through the bars, everything's just, yeah, attention to detail from Bespoke is cracker. So the ECU package in this, it's an M150 Motec package. It's got a C1212 dash, E888. CAN keypad, all the stuff I guess you could say to make it a tunable car. Obviously Motec's been around for many, many years. The setup in this car is awesome. You got everything from pretty much whatever you want. Whatever you want to tune in this car, you can. Motec has it all. So it's yeah, for a top end package, obviously Motec's fantastic in that range. But yeah, tunability, drivability, everything you can do with it, it's unreal. So originally Alex came to us. He was like, I guess, I'm going to call him a fan. Alex, you're a fan. You're a fan of what we're doing at Roll Racing. We're massive fans of Roll Racing, obviously. We love the sport, love what it's doing to, I guess, the car scene, the GT-R scene, all cars in Australia, basically. Well, especially Sydney and Brisbane is obviously what we're focusing on. He came to us saying that he wanted to race, he wanted to win, had, you know, had an awesome car ready to go, just needed the final touches. One thing to build these cars and have all the nice parts on, but you've got to have the whole package. So from like suspension, alignments, tuning, ECUs, engine, like the whole thing has to work. Big thing Alex had for us, which was awesome, he had the whole package, just needed that last little bit, I guess, to make it work. So we bought the car up from Sydney. We ended up tuning the car. I think it came to us at 1,090 horsepower, something around that. It was definitely I guess a safe tune or a mild tune up or something you'd say, where, you know, peak power sort of made it the peak RPM. But obviously with the Roll Racing setup and how we tune the cars anyway, especially, you got to try and get the power in early. So a lot of the Roll Racing is won at the first part of the track, that's for sure. So it came to us, we changed the tune, went from 1,090, went to 1,234 horsepower. We did max out the turbocharger on this one, so it's a G45 1500, but boost levels on that, we're around 42 pound at that, 41 pound I think it was actually on 1234. And pretty much what that sort of told us is that turbo size was correct and nice for that 1200 horsepower range, but anything further past that, we could probably push the car and, you know, make the turbo do more power, but the point is that if you correct sizing on your turbos will be where your power range sort of falls. Especially having VCam still in this car makes it super tunable with the Motec as well. It's just VCam, Motec, and a good size turbo. Like, I think that's really a cracking combination. Obviously you can do both. You can have nitrous or VCam, or you could have nitrous and VCam. We've got some cars with nitrous, some cars with VCam, and I think there's a distinct line of which way you want it to do. VCam still makes it super drivable on the street. You don't have to worry about lag, I guess you could say. You don't have to worry about all that extra nitrous on the street, or having, you know, the cops say, you got a nitrous bottle in there, what are you doing? But it does make it a lot tunable, a lot more of a tunable car. Especially this kit, I think, which Anthony's worked on. I think it allows us to up to 60 degrees advancement on the intake cam, which is crazy. So we don't use quite that much yet. We're obviously creeping up on it and figuring out where the car's nice and happy. And I think we've got a setup now where it's pretty good. It sort of seems to be doing what it needs to do. The car's fast from 40k an hour. I actually don't know what car would keep up with it at the moment. Especially like the sizing on the turbo, like I said before. Yeah, it rips out the hole. So obviously you've got to try and bring the big auto cars down a little bit from speed, but yeah, 40 to 50k an hour, this car, out the hole, I'm not sure, really don't know how to touch it. So we pull the power in as much as we can. We don't really wait for, you know, second, third, fourth gear or anything like that. We'll get Joe to talk about the alignment a bit later on, but yeah, the setup that we can pour as much power in early as we can really makes this car a rocket out of the hole, which is, for roll racing, is definitely what you need. Yeah, big thing with this car, obviously being a GT-R and all-wheel drive, the customers, Alex actually opted for a sequential still, which is cool. Like I was saying, having a manual car or a sequential car, still a manual, flat shift is the big key. And getting a flat shift to work how it's supposed to and how it's supposed to, so it feels nice, it still delivers the power how it's supposed to, it still torque reduces the engine, the gearbox, etc. Yeah, that side of things, it takes a little bit, like, I guess, fine-tuning, finessing on the street or at the track. And yeah, getting that power to the ground through the sequential, flat shifting, like everything's got to sort of go right, which is pretty cool. And this car is sort of having the Motec on board, having, you know, the correct size turbo, VCam, everything hits at the right time. You know, everything is controlled by the Motec, and it's very easy to manipulate and tune around certain aspects that the customer wants or Alex wants at the track. You know, we've done a test day with him and we had some really good runs. We fine-tuned a lot of things at the track, which was cool. So having that available all through the Motec is unreal. And also with the four-wheel drive stuff we've got in this car, obviously the Motec, again, it can control anything, it controls the Altezza system. So we've got multiple settings. So if Alex says to me the car's, you know, loose in the front or anything, that sort of thing at the track, we've also got more settings to actually put more power to the front, which is a really cool aspect to have. So we bring the power out of the car effectively after the start line or after a certain kilometers per hour. But yeah, having it available to do a few different settings, and if you want some more drive to the front, if the track's colder or slippery or any of that sort of things, we can have a lot more stability and control of the car and try and get repeatability is the biggest thing we want to get out of this car, so which I think we've got pretty good. All right, all this power, all this stuff I've just spoke about, it's nice to have. It's all that well and good to have, to try and turn as much power as you can early, all that sort of stuff, but you still got to get it to the ground. So let's talk to Juddy about that, see what he's done for this car, see how he gets that power to the ground and through his suspension setup, and we'll go from there. Don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, Sam. Subscribe. Let's get those subscribers up. We got some cool stuff coming up. This car will be at State of Origin. I think it's September 20th now is a new event date for that. Been postponed a couple of times, but the right call made. It did rain on the last one too, which is cool. So we got some awesome content out in the streets. If you haven't checked that video out, go and check that out. That's pretty sick. So yeah, get this thing. This thing's gonna be pretty special for State of Origin. Won't say anything about it, but you wait and see.
All right, this is underneath GOKU. So everyone's saying it does get down, it puts the power to the ground at the track. It is a very quick car. So a few things that we do suspension wise, we do have adjustable upper camber arms in it, which are hard race. We've got a Hiker's delete kit in there and rear camber arms as well. just to stand the wheels up, get them where we like to have them set. Besides that, he's running the 275 4017 Mickey Thompson ET Streets. That's what came on this car to us when we first set it up. They're proven to work, so we're not really going to step away from them. As you know, Mickey Thompson's a big name in drag racing. They know their stuff. It puts it down. We've got, as Stewie was saying before, if you come up the front here, you will see the billet sump that's in there, and also the billet diff that we installed on this car. The reason we went for this billet diff, if you come with me for a second, is because that's what happened to GOKU's factory diff housing. So we've gone with the Quaife diff and the billet housing, and we have not had a single drama since. So good reason to upgrade your front differentials when you're putting big horsepower into these older cars. It's a cast housing. They are from 1995 to 97. They are going to fail at some point in their life.
Did we talk about what brakes are on it?
Big ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, big brakes. They do have the upgraded 4-pot Brembos that are significantly bigger than the standard GT-R brakes, so it does stop on a dime. To drive this thing on the street with the power it makes and everything, it's just an absolute gorgeous car to drive. It stops, it steers, it handles, it's so smooth. You couldn't really ask for a better setup roll racing vehicle. So everything we've done, all the coilovers and everything, we have corner weighted the car. Can't remember exactly. I'll go back through and have a look and let you know what it weighs. But yeah, the way it's all set up, everything works. So as we were saying, it does run the Mickey Thompsons. They are fitted to a set of LMGT4 Nismo wheels. Very desirable wheel for these vehicles. And as you will see, we did mention the big 4-pot Brembo brakes and the floating rotors as well. So that's the wheel and tyre set up on GOKU. What else do you want, Dill?
Well, I heard there's something special about the exhaust, right?
That would be the fact that it's a titanium exhaust, and also runs a AES dump valve as well, or bypass valve, and still retains the factory GT-R rear diff and shafts as well. So from here on in, we're going to hand it over to Andy. He'll take you for a drive, and we'll go from there.
So I'll take you for a little ride with a 1200 horsepower sequential GT-R32. With this Motec setup that's in GOKU. It's got, I think it's about 4 different tunes. So push of a button down here on the boost button. You just flick through. So you're on 800 horsepower now. I think it's around 900, 1000, and then that's kill mode, so 12, 1300.
You want to have a laugh? I think I raced him in low boost.
What is that? I think I raced him in low boost.
I swear to God.
Button here puts it into full drive for you. Turns different settings for that as well, so depends how aggressive you want it. Street driving, just like a normal car. And then yeah, you can go to the racetrack and be competitive for roll racing. So it's a bit of an all-round. It is a true street car, I guess you could say. It's nice. It's very nice. So we got the Samsonas sequential box to drive this thing. 6-speed, lovely billet shifter. Yeah, so any of you guys that haven't really driven with one before, it's just as easy as pushing a forward to go down gears and then pulling it. So you don't need to use the clutch every time you shift it with it. You can do it shift without using the clutch, but you know, when you're just cruising around, I sort of just like to use the clutch still. Just helps the box a little bit. But yeah, you can just pull the shifter and just clutch change it. So it is the Samsonas are an awesome gearbox. It's a 6-speed too, so you know, just cruises. It's mint on the highways.
So when he's out of roll racing, he's always flat shifting? Is
yeah,
that
when you roll race this thing, that's what the load cell and everything's on there set up to do, so you can just, you know, just road gears, just start pulling back on that thing. Every time you want to clutch in that, your shifting's not going to be as fast as just pulling the shifter, so.
Yeah.
That's how you can get sequentials to go so fast.
What's this sort of front bit on the...
So this is your reverse lockout cable.
Yep.
So when you're in first gear, you need to pull that and shift it into neutral, and then pull it again, and you can go into reverse.
Yep.
It's just so when you're going downshifting, you can't accidentally shift to neutral and then maybe into reverse.
Yep.
Good safety feature for you.
So we've got all the works in this. We've got aircon. We've got everything's working.
We don't have it on now. We'll turn it on here. Put the AC on. Go down to, it's quite warm here today, so we're at like 20 degrees. Just cranks away, it's beautiful.
What do we got down below the aircon?
I got the Australian, that's still there. I think you don't use that or anything like that. You get the cigarette lighter, one.
Yeah.
You know, all the things you used to get back in the 90s cars. I don't think you get them really in any new cars these days. Take it to the racetrack and be very competitive with it, so it's a really nice all-round car. You really want to, you've got the button here for an exhaust flap, so you can have it on full race mode and loud as shit, but you know, you probably don't want to be street driving the streets like this. It's quite loud, so again,
Attracts a bit too much attention.
Flick of a button and you're silent mode again.
So how does it feel to drive this, like, in comparison to something like Big Deal?
Like they've all got their own uniqueness, I guess you can say. I mean, driving a sequential car, you do get a bit more of the rawness by having to roll all the gears. Big Deal being an auto, you know, it's first gear then top gear. But yeah, you know, each car's to their own. I think, you know, Big Deal would be a lot different if it had a sequential. It'd act differently. You know, you've got different gear ranges you can go through. But you know, I sort of like driving the sequentials. I've got them in my car as well, so, but you know, I can't use the flat shift as well as what you can in the GT-R with the sequential. You know, but most of the interior is pretty factory in this thing. It does have some nice R32 GT-R seats. They're comfortable, you know. Alex does drive this thing to and from the track sometimes. He does like to go driving in it, so you know, you want comfort when you're driving this thing, so you know, the 34s are a nice option, yeah, compared to the factory 32 seats, so it's not too loud. You get a bit of a whine from the box, but that's, you know, with your sequential and the straight cut gears, you're always going to have that little bit extra whine.
Is there anything about the dash that's special?
Oh, it's a Motec C1212 dash. Yeah, I don't really know too much about it. I think it shows all your vital signs you need for your motor, your oil pressure, coolant temp, fuel pressure, all that sort of stuff, your boost pressure, your speed, RPM, all the normal stuff you want to be watching to make sure your car's running fine. You know, if you see any of those spike out of control, then you know, it's a pretty good sign there's something going on. So GOKU runs on some 17-inch LMGT4s, you know, and then some Mickey Thompson tyres. So I think there's still a 275 40-18 tyre, so they've still got a sticky compound tyre from Mickey Thompson, but yeah, there's not like your normal drag setup or like radial tyre on a 15-inch rim, and yeah, drives and handles on the road, you know, like a normal car would, I guess. Yeah, nothing really super special about it or anything like that. It's just the combination of this thing works. Yep. Uses the whole width of the tyre, uses everything, all the power it's got to get the power to the ground, you know. Without a good suspension setup and tyre combo, I guess, you can always be fighting for traction with such big power.
I hope that answered some of the questions that you might have had about what it actually takes to have a car at this level, at this caliber, and to make it so consistent. If there's any other questions that we didn't answer, or there's something specific that you want to know, whether it be about GOKU or it be about another car or it's engine specific, whatever it is, put it down in the comments below. We'll always try and get back to you. That's it for this episode. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.